You know, I was desperate for a very long time. I was lonely. I was desperate. At some points in my life, I was, perverted just like everybody else. I truly seen myself like a loser. I just settled for anything. Looking at myself, I can only say, like, I was just so disappointed. And every day I wake up, I think to myself, why do I continue to go on?
Whoa, oh, mercy, mercy me. All things ain't what they used to be now. Where did all the blue skies go? Poison is the wind that blows from the north and south and east. Oh, mercy, mercy me. All things ain't what they used to be now.
Hey people, David here. And today, I think what I really planned on doing today is something that I was kind of afraid to do. I kind of didn't want to do. But I felt like it's something inside of me that just wants to do it. I mean, you guys already know about my life. I may put some clips of old videos in the beginning of this so we can just speed past what you already do know about me. But I'm pretty much making this video to tell you guys about the things you don't know about me. And some things are really bad. I don't know if I could call anything really good. A lot of things happened before I was a follower of Christ or before I devoted my life to Christ, and then there's things that I still battle with afterwards. For those who's been watching me, they know that I don't have a real relationship with my family, and that I come from a family of 5, and that I was born and raised in Texas, and that I moved to California to live with my girlfriend. Not really close to my mom, my dad, my sister or brother. I haven't been close to them for quite some time. Even though we live in the same house, we don't necessarily talk or get along with each other. I honestly always used to feel like that they didn't really like me or didn't really care about me. Yeah. When I describe myself, I always used to think of myself as a effortlessly unlikable person, which means I'm effortlessly unlikable. All I really do is annoy people. And the reason I say effortlessly is because to me, it's not my intent to. I don't mean to be mean. I don't mean to be a bother. Sometimes I'm just curious. I have a lot of questions. I hyper-analyze everything. And a lot of time people don't like those who ask too many questions or want to know a lot about them. But for a few details that y'all don't know about me, I actually have ADHD. For those who don't know what that means, it's attention deficit hyperactive disorder. I feel like I don't like to place a lot of my blame on ADHD. I mean, it does make it harder for me to control impulsive behaviors and compulsive habits that I have. It makes it hard for me to control a lot of the urges I get. I want to say from a young age, I didn't understand love from the time I was a kid. This is something I never really talked about on camera because it's something that I'm honestly very shameful of and feel very guilty about. And me being this transparent with you guys is something I feel like rarely anyone would do. And if they did, they'll be judged, and I'm willing to be judged. I mean, this video can either hurt my mental health and make me feel more like a miserable human being, or it can bring me even more clarity or connections to people that relate to me, which I don't know if there's a lot of people that relate to me. But as a kid, I've always wanted love, as any kid does. I'm no different than your average kid that wants love, affection, and attention, right? But when you feel deprived of that love and you're growing up around a family that only conditionally loves you, where you have to be somebody special, where you have to look even physically like somebody that is lovable. It's hard. I grew up in a household where the love was perverted. And by perverted, it doesn't necessarily mean that it had everything to do with sex, or it's just abnormal. I grew up in a household where love was abnormal, or the concept of it was. It's not real love. It's a perverted version of love. So growing up in that household, and also going to schools where, I was touched at an early age by other boys at school. I was kissed in the mouth. A boy washed his hands in my pee while I was in the urinal. Wanted me to do oral on him. A whole lot of stuff. My brother's friend, we was playing hide and seek, and when he found me, he started humping me and everything, and I didn't know how to really react to any of this stuff. I was just exposed to a lot early. I realized at an early age that a lot of girls cared about looks. They'll call different kids in my school hot, and I think inside I was kind of jealous or even envious of those kids. I wanted to be more than I could be. All the things I grew up with in school, penis jokes, people joking about penis size, or people talking about what's pleasing to a girl and what body proportions you have to have. You have to be muscular and this and that and the third to be pleasing to anyone. And this is all in elementary through middle school. My life is just chaotic. My mom and my dad argued a lot. They wanted to separate, but didn't, because they said they wanted to raise us together. Dad cheated on my mom until he was done cheating on her, and then decided to be loyal to her after all of that happened. I felt like the damage was already done. I mean, my mom was very dismissive when it came to a lot of problems between me and my siblings, and she was also a big enabler when it came to my brother hitting me, or my sister scratching me, or them not wanting to ever play with me or have any type of connection to me. And I used to throw tantrums, throw ketchup on the wall, put holes in the wall, just say a lot of absurd things like, I don't care who dies, or just a lot of crazy stuff. No excuse for any of it. All of it is bad. I was just very impulsive at the mouth, And when I'm angry, I say a lot of hateful, hurtful, and sometimes even violent things. It's just who I am. And then with all of that going on, I had a hard time communicating in school. I didn't know how to talk to girls. I just know what they like. And a lot of the kids in my school were inappropriate, and they would do a lot of things in front of me, like spank each other, grope each other, moan, a lot of immature and inappropriate things, you know, at an early age, around the time puberty. You know, I think when I first hit puberty was at like 12 or 13, one of those. But that's when I started developing, you know, different feelings. You know, I used to do inappropriate things, you know, touch myself, say inappropriate things to people. It was never really too bold, but I would always hint at something inappropriate when I would talk to people, or allude to something inappropriate, because I felt like that was the thing that was likable. And it was wrong, and it was disgusting, but it's something I did, you know, and it's something that actually became a habit. But it was also something that I felt very remorseful for. Like, I've never touched a female without her consent, or doing something against her will. No. The only thing I would say I have ever did was hint at something inappropriate, or do something inappropriate to myself, because I felt like this is what's attractive. Maybe if a girl can see what's in my pants, you know, or this and that and the third, she would want me. At the time, I thought that's all a girl wants, because that's all I would hear. It's part of the reason why I used to get irritated when people would say, you know, children are the most innocent, most purest things, that they just go to school and probably talk about Roblox or what game they're going to play online, when that's not the case. Because we've all been to elementary school and middle school. It's actually completely the opposite, with inappropriate drawing, inappropriate gestures, bullying. A lot of these kids know a lot more than you think they do about sex at an early age. And then they expose other kids to the same inappropriate stuff that they know about. That's what my early childhood was looking like. I got suspended because of that. I got suspended for touching myself, but I never ever physically exposed myself. I will always do something where you can see stuff, you know, like adjust my pants a certain way where you can see something. But it was still, either way, inappropriate, and it should have never been done. High school wasn't too bad. I still was the oddball, both in my family and in school. You know, I still was the person who just didn't know how to socialize. Didn't do well with social cues. I didn't like eye contact. It was very hard for me to make eye contact with people. I was always very tense and anxious on the inside, and shy and silent. And I also couldn't sit still, because I always had this energy. I would always tap or move. And I guess to everybody else, like an outsider looking in, I just look weird. And I can sense that I look weird. And I think one of my biggest fears was making other people uncomfortable, because I just wanted to be accepted so bad. And it caused me to do a lot of self-degrading things to want to be accepted and not irritate people all the time. It's like life feels like a burden more than it is a blessing at times. But from high school and up, I already had friends, Jacob and Jordan. I guess I can name drop their names. I mean, I'm not going to, expose too much, but, one of my friends, I'm just going to say one of them, did touch me, when I was younger. I met them in middle school. They touched me, but I didn't really have a problem with it, at least at the time. I didn't know what to think about it. I just gave it the okay because he's my friend. I mean, I didn't get shown a lot of affection growing up. I mean, I wasn't hugged a lot. I wasn't physically close to my brother and sister. I didn't have no closure. Nobody really comforted me. So, in my head, I just took everything that I was given as, oh, this is what affection is, so, I'm gonna take it. I was just very desperate to feel like something. And so for a long time, that kind of stuff went on within my friend group. I was always for sure that I was straight and attracted to girls, but at the same time, I never really full flat out pushed a guy away if I knew he liked me, because I wasn't really shown much affection by girls. But I knew if a girl given me the same attention as a guy has given me, I would take the girl 100%. But as a desperate person that's just taking whatever is given to him, I just took everything. And as undignifying as that sounds, I'm not gonna make it seem like it wasn't undignifying, because it was. As sad and pathetic that it may sound, I'm not gonna sit here and lie and try to comfort myself and be like, you know what, it wasn't that bad when it was. So that happened all the way up until one of my friends passed away, which was Jordan. I mean, y'all could make the connection. Me and Jacob weren't really as good of friends as me and Jordan. There was another friend named Mikhail, but I'm not really close to Mikhail like that. I mean, me and Mikhail, we talk, we hang, but he in the inside thought he was better than me, because I had the type of friends where they cyberbullied me for years and always insulted me and put other things in front of me, but I stuck with them because I felt like that's the best I can do. It's kind of like you settle for the emotional abuse, or you settle for things that are not so good because you feel like you'll never have anything good. And you feel like asking for somebody to respect you is too high of standards, or too high of expectations. And I thought just to ask for some love was too high to ask from people. So that's how my early childhood looked. My adulthood, it's not very better. From, I'm gonna say 17 to 22, my life hit an all-time low. My sister started dating people, and all I hope for is that my sister dates somebody respectful. They don't gotta be Christian like me. Even though that's my preferred thing, I would prefer she get with a Christian man. I prefer she even be a Christian. But if that can't happen, I just want her to be with somebody who respects her and who's still on some level moral. But she's always dated the complete opposite of that. So she started to resent me because I just didn't approve of a lot of the people she would date, and for my own reasons, for them liking hentai or them being racist, because a lot of the people she hang around right now hate the fact that white people and black people date, or white people or any other race date. She says she wants black people and black people to just date each other, and that's it. And it just rubs me the wrong way. She thinks she has a right to be entitled because those were her own words. But this isn't about bashing my sister. I still love my sister. But I'm just trying to help y'all understand why I was so protective over my sister. Because if she's hateful, she's going to get with somebody who's hateful because they're going to be compatible. And that's what I'm scared of, is getting with somebody who's just as vengeful, hateful as her. Because that can hurt her. That can backfire. That's what I don't want. I would say I want the best for my brother, but I already know that he doesn't care what I have to say. Because if anybody really thinks that I don't know anything, it's my brother. He was always the one to fit in. And he always looked at me as I'm nothing but a baby, sheltered by my parents. He sees himself as more experienced than me. He called himself the best looking one in the family. Yeah. He always compared himself to me and others. In my family, our dad made us compete against each other when it came to everything, lifting weights, running, all this stuff. And we would compete against each other. And I feel like that caused a rift between us, because now we're not focused on protecting each other and being close. We're focused on trying to be better than each other. And that caused a rift between my siblings, because he made us compete. He would say, and if I lost against my sister, let's say when it came to lifting weights, he would say, oh, you're weak. You're weaker than her. If I run faster than my sister, he would tell her, you run too slow, blah, blah, blah. It was just competition. And it caused rift between all of us. But yeah, speaking of going back to 17 through 22, I used to stream inappropriately. As in, I used to stand in front of a camera and not be really wearing any clothes. Just be in my underwear. Why? Because when I seen other streamers on all these different apps, and I can even bring them up, there's one called Coco, there's one called Tango, all these different apps, Live.me, there's tons of different apps people have on their profile picture revealing pictures of them, and they're getting all this attention and getting all these coins or whatever the currency inside the app is just by being there and people finding them attractive. And it's just like, I've tried streaming with just me, as in with just myself as a personality, not being naked or not wearing clothes that insinuate my body parts or my private parts, but just being myself. And I didn't get a lot of people. And so I was thinking to myself, as desperate and lonely and sometimes pathetic as I was, am I willing to sell my dignity for some perverted love? Yes. Because I was desperate for any type of love that I can get, even if the love is fake. So I did it, and it worked. People commented. Most of them just wanted sex or nudes, and I did it. I mean, sex, no, because I've only ever had sex once, and I'm getting around to telling you guys about that. But when it came to pictures. Yeah, it's in a lot of pictures. I think I did a lot of wrong things because I never asked anybody about their age or gender. So I never asked because I knew it would stop me. I didn't want to feel more ashamed than what I was. And in a way, that's selfish. I didn't want to feel more guilty and more hurt than I already was. And so I did the selfish thing and the perverted thing. And just so I can hear them tell me I'm handsome or to tell me my body is beautiful, I did all this stuff for some compliments that they can say to literally anybody. But because I was going through what I was going through, for that reason, it meant more to me than it should have. I lost a lot of people because of the dignity that I sold. But not only that, there were people I was losing anyway because they just genuinely didn't like me as a person. Jacob, Jordan, and Mikhail don't really like me as a person. Those are my childhood friends that I've been with over 10 years that I don't even really talk to anymore. The only one I really talk to now is Mikhail. And it's not about life, it's about video games. And it's just to fill in time in my day. I haven't talked to my sister since I moved to California, and I've been here for like 6 months, 7 months maybe. I haven't spoken to her on the phone. Only one I really talk to, at least one time, is my brother. I talk to my mom occasionally. I talk to my dad occasionally. I talk to my brother like once or twice. But he's not concerned with how I'm doing in life now, so I don't talk to him too much. I feel like one of my biggest regrets would be a relationship that should have never happened. And that was when I lost my virginity. Can't go into too much detail on that, but I could tell you that what I thought was love wasn't love. What the other person thought was love wasn't love. We were using each other as an escape, and she was using multiple guys. I was just part of them. I didn't know she was with other guys, but then again, I'm telling you guys, I shouldn't have been with her in the first place. And it sent my life into a tailspin. Questioning whether or not I should even exist. Questioning whether or not I was just here to just feel like I shouldn't be here. I wanted to be transparent, not because I want y'all to feel bad for me, but it was mainly that I want y'all to understand me, because as a kid growing up, I never felt understood. And I always felt that I'll never be understood, or I'll never be truly liked or loved. Even in my relationship now with my girlfriend, how I met Asia was basically on YouTube when she commented under my video. We've had a lot of ups and downs. We've had a lot of intense arguments, but we also had a lot of moments where we were just having fun and relaxing and enjoying each other's company. But even with this relationship I have today, it's not easy. I used to think the only reason I'm here is because I wasn't impulsive enough to kill myself yet. And sometimes I do wish I was impulsive enough. But then there's sometimes I don't. I think I just wanted to be loved. And For all those people that feel effortlessly unlikable, for all those people that do watch this video and you feel like all you can do is wrong, and you feel like if you tell everybody your sins, right? If you was to confess every sin, even your deepest, darkest ones, that your family and other people would just disown you, you're not wrong for thinking that, and you're actually more right than you are wrong. Because this video I'm making could very well make me lose everything. I mean, I talked about my compulsive habits. Only thing I didn't touch on is what I used to be jealous of, you know. It will sound crazy, but I used to be jealous of everything. Yeah, even animals. Why? Because people sometimes have more compassion for animals than they do for humans. People compliment an animal's beauty sometimes more than a human's beauty. So I never truly... I know there's people that think some animals are ugly, but a lot of the time where I go online, girls and guys both give animals this special type of attention. I've heard people talk about animals' private parts when I was young, and even today. And I would be jealous of how they reacted to the animal. I mean, I would be jealous of the praise other people got. When somebody's next to me and they're getting all this praise about their beauty and their physique and just how they look, it used to just hurt me. Because I'm like, man, it must be nice to have everybody flocking to you and wanting you around and inviting you out to places. Because what I know about me and what people who've watched me know about me is that I was oftentimes rejected more than anything. I was belittled a lot. I actually got down on all fours at one time and mooed like a cow just to get some laughs. That's how desperate I was for some type of reaction. It's a reason I can't help but say I'm not a good man, because I know me. And I know how low I get, and I know how weak I get. I just don't always like to relive it, because if I did, sometimes reliving it makes me not want to live at all. Even when I will watch adult films, I mainly focused on the guy because I'm comparing him to me. I've always wanted to be like attractive or like a draw to people. I wanted to feel like something. I didn't like being the one to be told, well, with a little bit of effort, you could be on my level. I didn't like being second place or third place. I just got comfortable being in second place or third place, because eventually it got to the point where I was like, you know what? I can't be what I dream to be, and I can't be what others want me to be. So I have to be who I am and get comfortable with that. I just wanted to say my life story on camera. So hopefully somebody was here to listen. Because if I told you all this, you know everything. I love you all. God bless you all. Bye.